We have another big disappointing delay for Xbox and Xbox Game Pass plus more, so let's get into it. Jumping over here to a pretty disappointing announcement for Xbox and for Xbox Game Pass. And this comes by the way of Warhammer 40k Darktide, which was that first-person co-op shooter that looked like it was going to be a really fun, really great game. And they put out this update delaying the game, saying this: today we decided to delay the launch of Warhammer 40,000 Darktide to November 30th for PC. So originally, I believe the date was in September. It was supposed to be coming out onto Xbox and onto PC at the same time, but now they've delayed the 2022 launch date for PC specifically to November 30th. They continue on here saying Xbox Series X and S will launch shortly after PC with a specific launch date to come. Delaying a game is perhaps one of the most difficult decisions a developer faces, and one we are not excited about making. Still, we hope this speaks to our commitment to taking the time necessary and doing whatever it takes to get you the best possible game. While we have been humbled by the great feedback on the game so far, we also need more time to improve stability, performance, and to mature key systems. Each is critical to making sure we have the best possible experience for you, the players. We also want to invite you on this journey. Soon, we will start a series of technical tests and betas in advance on our launch to ensure we deliver the best version of the game. If you'd like to participate, you can sign up at darktide.live/signup. Thank you all for the excitement and appreciation that you have shown us thus far. It really does mean the world to us. So, a couple of things within this big post on Twitter announcing the delay. Like I said, first of all, the PC game, the PC version is still going to be coming out in 2022 unless, again, it gets delayed, and that's going to be on November 30th. The Xbox Series X and S version looks like it's most likely going to be pushed to 2023 unless they literally just need a quick performance upgrade, stability upgrade after they've launched it on PC to make sure that it runs well on Xbox or something, and then it maybe releases sometime in December. But I really don't like what they're doing here whatsoever, that they are launching it on PC first and then launching it on Xbox Series X and S, especially because this is an Xbox Game Pass game. To me, this is something that you need to launch at the same time on both platforms and have everybody across the entire community who's playing this game be able to experience it together. So that's kind of frustrating. That's definitely something I wish they weren't doing. If they're going to delay it, might as well just delay both versions and have them release in early 2023 together so people on both platforms get to have the launch together. Secondly, there is going to be a technical sign up. So if you want to experience the beta before the game comes out, definitely go and check that out. So they are giving people that option to jump in earlier, just obviously not with the full release. Now, besides that, it's also disappointing because this, in my opinion, was one of those big day one Xbox Game Pass games that came from a third party that was really kind of making up for the lack of first party releases that Xbox was doing in 2022. Obviously doesn't make up for it fully. That's still disappointing, but there was still a lot of good content that we were going to be getting into Xbox Game Pass from the third parties. And this one had me excited, had a lot of people excited, a lot of people looking forward to it. It looked like it was a really good entry into the Warhammer series. And now we take a look at Xbox's releases going to the end of 2022, and it is pretty scarce, especially now that you have released that. So Grounded, the full version, is going to be releasing. That's something we know that's coming in September. But then you have, I would say, 4 other big games that people are excited for. People are going to want to play on Xbox Game Pass between September and December. You have A Plague Tale Requiem, which is coming out on October 18th, and game looks incredible. Coming to Game Pass, I think that's a big get for the service, and a lot of people are going to want to jump into that. Persona 5 Royale coming on October 21st. Again, that's a big game. It's an older game. It's been out for a long time now, but it's a huge game for Xbox and Xbox gamers to be able to experience it on Xbox Game Pass. And I know a lot of people who have never played it before are going to be jumping into Persona 5. You have Scorn, which is that like horror, gory, weird looking style of first person shooter with just completely unique graphics. Seems like it's going to have a completely unique gameplay and a unique story. That's coming out on October 21st, and pretty excited for that one. You know, then you have High on Life, and that was that one they showed off at the Xbox and Bethesda showcase from the writers of Rick and Morty. Game looks incredible. I'm really excited for that. That's coming out on October 25th. And then you have Pentiment. Now, this doesn't have an official release date yet. It is coming in November, apparently. Again, this could be delayed. And that is the RPG coming from Obsidian, the smaller RPG from that smaller team with a unique art style and lots of text decisions and all that type of stuff. So that one could be cool as well. I'm actually looking forward to Pentiment to see how that game plays out and the story and all that type of stuff. But we're looking right now at Xbox in the last half of 2022 in the most important time, I would say, which is going to be from September to December, where people are waiting for those big hitters to come out. Particularly for Xbox Game Pass, it is looking relatively scarce in terms of having a large selection of games that a lot of people are going to be talking about and be excited for. Now, you ask me what I think about this personally. I have so many games to play. I have every console, I have PC. I'm not really too concerned about not being able to play anything, but from a marketing perspective, right now on Xbox Game Pass, they are looking at a holiday season where it's going to be tough, I would say, to really market that big new title to get people into the service. And I don't know how much that's going to affect people signing up to it or not, because we are seeing Xbox Game Pass subscribers still going up, especially with the recent earnings report. The increase in Game Pass subscribers is what offset a lot of the decline in terms of the hardware and the content and services. So we'll have to wait and see how this really affects Game Pass and how it affects Xbox in the end of 2022. But it is disappointing from a perspective of people who want to get that hype for Xbox going into 2022. I think they dropped the ball a little bit with the September to December timeframe, and I think it's because they had all their eggs in that one basket of Starfield and Redfall. Now that those aren't there, they didn't seem to have a contingency plan, at least as of yet. There's still the prospect that they come up with something huge before these months come, and there's still that prospect that the Activision Blizzard deal closes and they somehow get all of those games into Xbox Game Pass, and hey, maybe even Modern Warfare 2. But definitely it is something that you got to keep an eye on, because it is worth criticizing Xbox for when it comes to how this all happened with the delays. There always has to be some sort of contingency plan, because we're in a generation now where games are literally getting delayed all the time. You can't put all your eggs in one basket to get people excited for your service. So a big Xbox game that a lot of people are looking forward to is the brand new Forza Motorsport, a game when they showed it off at the Xbox and Bethesda showcase really blew a lot of people away with the overall aesthetic, the graphics, the additional better improved gameplay. All of that type of stuff has people very excited for Forza Motorsport. As somebody who's just been playing a ton of Forza Horizon Hot Wheels, I'm now even more excited for Forza Motorsport and just the racing genre in general. And Forza Motorsport tweeted this out the other day, giving us a look at a brand new feature that's going to help us improve the way that we play the game. So it says here, in the new Forza Motorsport, we want to help you unlock your fastest self. The corner mastery system focuses your practice sessions on the trickiest areas of the track. We're making it more social and connected, where players compete and compare corner scores in real time. I mean, I think that is pretty cool. It's really going to help you master the tracks that you go through. I mean, the corners are probably the most important part in any of these races. If you want to have the best times, if you want to finish first and you want to beat people online, if you can master those corners, you're going to have a lot of success. And being able to compare with your friends and just kind of seeing how they're doing compared to how you're doing, where you need to improve, I think will be a very good social feature that's going to push Forza Motorsport forward. And I'm excited to see how it all works, especially with the additional improved gameplay, with the things that we've seen about there's more traction of the tires, more traction on the actual pavement when you're driving, more points on the tires that make contact to give you a more realistic feel when you're driving the car, all that type of stuff. Sounds like this game is going to be pretty realistic, a great racing simulator, and I'm pretty excited for it. I can't wait for it to actually come out. All right, to end things off here, just a quick little interesting topic here, and it has to do with console wars specifically, and it has to do with the Xbox 360 era when Peter Moore was a part of Xbox, and he was talking on his podcast, My Other Passion podcast, and he has to say this about console wars. We encourage the console wars, not to create division, but to challenge each other. And when I say each other, I mean Microsoft and Sony. If Microsoft hadn't have stuck the course after the Xbox, after the Red Rings of Death, gaming would be a poor place for it. You wouldn't have the competition you have today. So if you remember the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3 era, I would say the console wars were at an all-time high in terms of what both companies were doing, and they literally had to push their consoles as the only way to get in to play them. And to do that, you had to do the deals for exclusivity, you had to get the third-party exclusives, you had to have really big first-party hitters And both consoles during that generation were really doing that. It was a time where gaming was very, very good. The Xbox 360, I would say, started off very strong and continued that strength throughout it all. The red rings of death definitely affected it, but thankfully they didn't let that end the Xbox 360, and it is probably the best generation for Xbox that they've had. The Series X and S, I think, will beat that by the end of this generation, but the 360 was an incredible generation for all gamers and for Xbox in particular. And now we have an era where the exclusivity, the console exclusivity, is something that's definitely going away, but we are still pushing these console wars. And the wars are between the ecosystems. In reality, that's where the fighting comes in between these two companies, as they've both have seen that's how they're going to be making the most money going forward, and that's how they're going to get people into their platform more so than the actual console in the box itself. You take a look at the recent earning reports for Microsoft: hardware down, content down, subscriptions up, and that in and of itself proves that the actual console wars for the plastic box are dead. Now, competition is a huge thing. It's really the only thing that pushes gaming forward. When you take a look back to before Xbox came into video games, the consoles were good, they were fine, they were going forward, but there wasn't really that huge innovation. Then when Xbox came in with the original Xbox, they had the hard drive, they had the Xbox Live, they had your friends list, and then we saw all the other consoles pushing that forward as well into the next generation. The Xbox 360 building upon that with your achievements, the UI, just improving Xbox Live, all of that type of stuff. And if it wasn't for that competition, we wouldn't be where we are today, I don't think, or at least at the same place we are in terms of gaming together as a community, and just how good it is, how much better it is than it was previously. So this is an interesting quote, that they were actually pushing the console wars back in the day on the Xbox 360 to challenge specifically Sony as Microsoft, and then Sony challenging Microsoft. But we're in a completely different era now, and we're still doing console wars, even though we're in an era where it's whoever has the best cloud gaming technology, whoever has the best ecosystem, rather than just Microsoft versus Sony. That's it from me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Warhammer 40k Darktide, the delay, and how they're doing the release with PC first. What do you think about that new feature coming to Forza Motorsport? And what are your thoughts on the current day console wars? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.